Runs on 110 volts. I think it's only 1400 watts or something like that, so it'll run easily. I'm expecting it'll run easily on my 4000 watt generator. That's the trick.
Hello and welcome to, well, Carlin's Worlds. Yeah, that should work. I'm a wanderer, a tinkerer, sometimes a nomad, a military veteran. I do things differently. There will be tinkering. I have a motorcycle, a truck, and a school bus. I live off-grid, so there will be some solar, batteries, inverters, and maybe even some wind. It blows. And that's all I can fit into about 30 seconds. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Cool. On with the show already.
Okay, really loud because of the generator outside. Tie this out of the way. You're supposed to be a trained professional to do this, so until I get around to the actual remodel, that's where it'll be, I guess. So this starts off with a sad story. I bought this online a week or so ago, finally went in to get it. I had planned on just screwing these PEX swivel fittings right onto there. Apparently that's not the way it's supposed to be, because these would not screw on there even though they're all 1/2 inch. So I thought I was just going to put these PEX fittings right onto there. That didn't work, so I went down to the local hardware store, bought 1/2 inch couplers, 1/2 inch nipple fitting. This does screw onto there and it feels like it's sealed. So I'm going to put lots of Teflon tape and we'll see how it does. And then what I'll do, I've got one line here for the hot water tap and one for the cold, so I'll just put elbows here and go straight down, right back up again. This is one of those don't do it the way I did it kind of things. Okay, what we've done so far, I put thread tape on these fittings. This is a weird fitting, it's got kind of a rubber face on it. I don't do a lot of plumbing. I can't really say that I'm experienced with that kind of thing. Now I got these short ones, and I'm pretty sure they call the short pieces of pipe nipples. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but it'll be like basically male to male. So I'm going to thread tape both ends. Parts of this will be temporary because of where this is going to be sitting. I'm going to move it later. Okay, I'm going to get these down about hand tight. Pipe threadings are tapered, so the further you turn them, they kind of wedge themselves in. I'm only running an RV style pump, so that's about 40 psi I think is what they're rated at. So it's not super high pressure. And then this piece is threaded and it's got a rubber gasket in there. And I'm sure hoping this is going to seal up nice and tight. And then we'll just connect this end to the PEX fitting. And if we have to, we can take this piece off and then tighten this one and then put this one back on. These ones are Apollo PEX fittings, like so. And it's a female national pipe thread on the threaded piece, and then it's a 1/2 inch PEX. Anything 1/2 inch PEX on this brand will be pink. So as long as you remember what size you're doing, because like the 3/4 I think was blue. So look for the colors. And this comes in 2 pieces. Alright, so this end goes through. You got to push it a little bit. What was weird, when I tried to screw this onto here, originally before I bought all the other pieces, this would screw on just fine, but this piece was in too deep and it wouldn't reach. So I couldn't get it to start. I was very upset because that was a day where I really was looking forward to not a cold shower. So that made me sad. Okay, this piece here, I'm going to leave it for now. This is my high pressure / high temperature relief valve. In case of overpressure or over temperature, this thing will open and water will come rushing out. You're not supposed to downsize this, so this is the only fitting I had. This was actually the one I was looking for my water filter I was going to put on. So anyway, later on I'm going to get the correct size fitting and then have it go straight down the drain in case of overflow. This fitting is the one that goes to the hot water tap, so I'm going to just cut it about there and come elbow straight down, and then from the tank, which is just below the camera, straight up, elbow in. Alright, well then that'll be that. So I'm going to find a piece of pipe. I'm going to move things a couple times before I get them exactly where I want them. I'm not really working to a good plan, or any kind of plan for that matter. And aside from a small amount of plastic that you waste, if you cut one of these off, okay, you can cut the ring, chop the pipe off, and reuse most of the pipe you can reuse, and you can reuse the fitting. You just take the thing apart, so you don't really lose very much. It takes a little pressure off. Don't have to be perfect. And on earlier videos, I've talked about these pliers and these rings. These are not the official PEX rings. The official ones are much nicer and very expensive because they're kind of like hydraulic kind of a thing. These things are just a little bit better than a hose clamp, but by squeezing this all the way down, it squeezes the ring and it makes a fairly tight seal. Oops, I need to do that. I like it about there. Just piss all over our new water heater. Ring, ring. There we go. These would be just perfect with an extra hand. It's a little bit tricky, but trying to hold it in the right spot. Once you get it started, it works better. The way these are designed, you squeeze them until it releases, then you know you've gone far enough. I have broken a couple of rings with them, so they may not be perfectly adjusted. I don't know if there's an adjustment or not. And yeah, the PEX, it's got enough flex to it that you can be off by a little bit, not really get too concerned. Love these guys. And ring on there. Like so. It's 110 volt, 7 gallon electric water heater. Runs on 110 volts. I think it's only 1400 watts or something like that, so it'll run easily. I'm expecting it'll run easily on my 4000 watt generator. That's the trick. I'm not going to run it off of solar yet, but that's an option later on when I get more batteries. EccoTemp, I got it at Home Depot, less than $200. I don't remember the exact price. It's got controls and lights. I talked about the relief valve, and then there's inlet and outlet. Now normally, yeah, if you're a smart plumber, you'd do red on your outlet for hot and blue for cold, but this is the extent of my hot water system for now. It literally goes from here to there to that tap. There's a tap here, And on the tap I got a garden hose, and on the other end of the garden hose I've got a handheld shower sprayer. So that's it, alright. This is my current temporary, I think this is the third or fourth version of my shower, second version of the indoor shower. I took two shower curtains, a piece of black plastic pipe, made a hoop. So half the curtain, or one curtain goes halfway around, the other half goes the other half, okay? I stand in this plastic tub, which is about 17 gallons. The tub, I put a bulkhead fitting in. Comes out to a garden hose, which goes down to a drain. The drain is semi-permanent, but it's above ground level, or it comes up above the floor a couple inches. So this works well enough for now. I take my shower. Quite often it doesn't really drain. I pick up the tub when I'm finished, and then the water goes out the drain. Not the best, but it's a quick and easy hack until I get around to building a shower pan and a shower surround in here. So right next to that is where the hot water heater is. Again, that's not ideal having it right next to you, but it does make a really nice short run, so I don't waste a lot of time or water getting hot water coming out of that. From there, I just kind of rigged this up temporary again. I bought this specifically because it had a garden hose fitting on it. It's a utility sink faucet. And then I used PEX plumbing swivel connectors on there. And those have worked really well, they don't leak. So when I turn the switch on up here for the pump, the first switch here, that's the one that turns on the pump. First thing we're going to do is purge all the air out of that. And then since I do have my generator running, I'm going to start heating, and we'll just kind of test it out and see how long it takes to get hot water. Pump on. Alright, pump is on. Alright, we'll just turn the tap on and flush some water through here. So now I'm flushing through the hot water tank to get a bunch of air coming out. It's important that we don't turn on the hot water tank, the heater, until we get all the air out of it. I've got so much noise coming off the generator, it's kind of messing with me. Alright, so we're going to turn this back on again. I don't see any leaks anywhere. We'll just run this until we don't get any spurting. When you shut the tap off, how quickly does the pump stop? Because if you got a bunch of air, the pump will keep running until the air compresses, which takes a long time. So if you can hear your pump, when you turn the tap on, the pump will start up right away, and then when you turn the tap off, it should stop right away. So we'll turn it on. Pump is on. You can't really hear it. A little bit of air still. We'll do that a few times. Yeah, the pump is stopping pretty quickly now. Now I'm gonna fire this heater up. Oh, now I got a leak. Okay, let's stop and check that out. Okay, which one is leaking? Everything. Excellent. Where should we start? Okay, we'll turn the pump off and we'll just tighten everything up a little bit. Okay, it appears that I don't have any leaks now. A little more thread tape, snugged it up good. Shot a little bit of pipe dope in there for good measure. I think we're good now. So, okay, I'm gonna plug it in. I've got a appliance cord that's rated to 15 amp. That should be enough to do this. So let's listen to the generator chug. It's the dryer is running right now also, so we'll see if this chugs it at all. This is on the big generator. Alright, green light on. Let's go this way towards hot. Yeah, there, we got a chug. So I'm going to go halfway up, see how long it takes. So now I'm normally going to run this off of the little generator. My idea is I'm going to wait and see how long it takes for the light to go off, then it should be up the temperature. Now I don't know, this is, you know, being a smaller hot water heater, it's not going to be able to recharge as fast as a big one. It's not running 220, I think it's only got one element instead of two. It's technically not even made for taking showers. This was made to put under a sink, you know, for hot water where you're too far from the hot water heater kind of thing. I just can't control myself though. I gotta see if it's at least getting warmish. Might be warmer than cold. Okay, I'm gonna say it's not cold like it is outside. So we got a ways to go yet. I probably would not die if I showered in that though. Okay, it's been going 14 minutes. I'm 15 minutes into the clip. I'm gonna try it again. Cold. Yeah, it's getting warmer. Alright, just for science, I'll be able to check the times later. You'll be able to hear when the pump starts on and also when I open the faucet. Off-grid shower 101. This time maybe with warm water. One of them I'm finding works really good. I've never really been a big fan of washcloths, but in this situation it works really good because you can drop this in the bottom of the tub that's still holding water and use that to kind of pre-wet yourself. Kind of get your hair wet, shampoo, but the way we did it in the Navy, and this is the way it was taught to us, because when you got 5,000 people on a ship, they can burn through a lot of water. So what you do, the Navy showers are kind of like what they have in RVs. You have a handheld sprayer. The water only runs when you're holding the button down. And as soon as you let go, the water stops. So you spray yourself off, get nice and wet, let go, lather up, and then spray off to rinse. That makes a huge difference in how much water you use. And what I'm thinking with my little water heater that I just hooked up, rather than waiting for it to get completely hot, which takes a lot more power, and then mixing cold water in it, if I could be quick enough, I should be able to get a decent shower with warm water just right out of the tank before it gets too cold. So that's the goal. If it's too warm to start with, I don't think it is, but if it is too warm, I'll mix some cold water. And basically, I'm reaching through an opening in the other side of the curtain to open and close the valves on the sink faucet that's over there. And I'm running just a handheld shower that's hooked up to a piece of garden hose with a hose clamp. All right, nothing really high tech here. Later on I'll get fancy, but for now this will be it. So okay, we're 2 minutes 30 seconds now. Let's see how fast we can do this. And yeah, the water in the bottom is really cold, so I'm going to throw my washcloth in there, let it start wetting. Also, I find if I throw the soap in there, let it get soft before we get started, and in we go. With any luck, we're not getting the full Monty on this one. Sorry guys. Alright. First off, get my hair wet, then I can do shampoo, untangle the hose. Alright. Reach out, hit the hot tap. Should hear the pump start up. There's the pump. Ah, that's cold. It's actually getting warmer already though. Okay, hair wet. Oh, now it's nice and warm. I haven't had water like this out here ever. Take a second to get wet. That's really nice. Okay, don't waste the water. Shut it off so we got something to rinse with. Now I'm not going to run out of water, I'll just run out of hot water. That's the distinction. And then it'll be really sucky again. Alright, so now water is off. Quick shampoo. Earlier, I drilled the restrictor out of this shower. I kind of wish I still had it now, but if I don't turn the tap on all the way, it'll work out pretty good. Okay, I got a washcloth that's wet, so I use that to kind of make sure everything is wet on me. And that was sitting in cold water, so that's not very good. Alright, soap. My parents would be mad. They can never get me to take less than a half an hour shower. But I'm not 12 anymore, so it's different when the water coming out is actually going to kill you. I think I talked about it earlier, but this tub doesn't really drain until you get it started, and you kind of have to pick up the tub and then the water will start to run. Once it starts, then it'll drain itself. So that's not ideal, but it was cheap. That was important. Alright, we are clean. Now the plan, I'm going to get the soap off as fast as I can. And the shortcut there is to use the washcloth and kind of just rinse off again. That way you're not covered in suds. Okay, I got most of the soap off. Now we rinse. Water coming on. Oh, this feels nice. Now I'm not running a full flow, I'm just getting enough to spray. That way I don't waste the water so fast. And I'm running straight hot water, so this will give me an idea how much water I actually have available. Still nice and hot. I definitely don't have to go all the way up. What I'm thinking, there's no sense in heating the water to 140 degrees. It just takes longer. So if I can get it warm enough, figure out where on the dial enough water is hot to take a shower without running out, then I'll just mark that. There, we're rinse scarred. At this point I might as well just waste it. Yeah, I'm just letting it run now until I run out. Crank it up a little bit. Okay, that's wide open. It's a nice spray. I just want to time it to see how long it runs. could have gone a smaller one, I think. I didn't need 7 gallons. How about that? Now the generator's off. I'm not heating. It's just whatever's left. I still haven't ran out. It's not quite as warm as when I started. But I'm not getting... Okay, there, I just started to get cold water. Alright. It's still not cold. It's just, you definitely felt it drop off. So if I was at this point, I still have enough to rinse off with. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely cool enough now. Alright. That was awesome. Time 10 minutes. So that was 10 minutes clip time total. Where's my towel? Damn it. Idiot. Okay, 10 minutes clip time, but I was, I think, 2 minutes 30 seconds when I got in there. So, say 7.5 minutes total, but the water wasn't running all of that. And, okay, now I can turn the pump off so I don't forget. Pump is off. That's a good habit to get into on a system like this. Just shut the pump off so if, you know, angry badgers chew through your water line, your pump doesn't sit there and pump your whole tank dry. Could happen. For anybody who doubts me, I've got tooth marks that chewed through, I'm thinking a rat chewed through the radiator hose on the bus. Enough to where it leaks. So, yeah, think about that. If they chewed through your water line and your pump was turned on, your pump would happily dry your entire, or pump your entire tank dry. So that's not good. Man, this is freaking awesome. Like, what the hell is that? I got enough water in there so it's finally starting to siphon. Oh, that's freaking hilarious. Alright, we'll deal with that in a minute. Yeah, the drain that I put in that tub isn't at the low point, so it's not quite ideal, but usually I don't have enough water in there to even get it to start to drain. That's a first. Alright. Today was warm. It was, okay, this is the same, or the week after it was 40 degrees, right? I got in here today, the bus was 80 degrees inside. It was weird, you know. So the whole time I was running the generator to run the washing machine and then to run the dryer, I kept thinking, man, this would be when I could run the electric heater, but I didn't need to. And then when I was running the dryer, mixed reviews on this. I've seen people do it. You run the run your exhaust hose from the dryer back into your living space. You get a lot of lint and dust and moisture, but you do get some free heat. So think about that. Your windows will fog up, but you'll be nice and warm. And actually, in the desert, a little bit of moisture is not a big deal. Alright, we are squeaky clean and dry and not shivering. That's a first. It's for science, right? Okay. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do, well, two things. I've got a piece of rope that I just tied the curtain with to kind of get it out of the way. And then I'll pick up the tub and let it drain for quite a while. Well, first I was taking showers outside, which obviously had problems. If it was windy or whatever, cold or dark or rattlesnakes or, you know, a lot of problems. But I didn't want to have running water in the bus right away until I figured everything else out, because I didn't want to have massive water problems leaks and whatnot. So eventually I got tired of taking showers outside in the wind. So I started setting this up, and so I got this tub first, and I had a handheld shower on a different pump at first. And I would heat up, if it was cold, I could heat up water on the stove, put it back in a bucket. The pump would feed out of the bucket. It was really simple, but it worked. Water would go in the tub. When I was done, I just pick up the tub and walk outside. So obviously you didn't want it to be too heavy. But you didn't also, if you're heating up water on the stove, you didn't want to heat up 20 gallons. It took forever, and you're burning your propane. So I'd heat up just enough where I felt like I could get clean, and it was just warm enough where I thought I probably wouldn't die. And that was about as best I could hope for. So I'm kind of used to this part, and this is much better than going outside. So all I got to do is pick it up a little bit, and it's already partially drained itself. So now the garden hose is aimed into that drain that was in the floor, and we're down to like, I don't know, the last 2 gallons or something like that. It's really not very heavy. So I'll just keep tipping it up. Now it's, down to the last couple of quarts. And we're done. That's it. So, yeah, not ideal, but it works. So, I don't care. That's basically it. Pump is shut off. Tub is drained. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup because I got tools laying all over the place. The last thing that I didn't do that I wanted to do, and it was because I thought I had more fittings and I don't have them, but let me get a shot of this anyway. This is a filter that I picked up. This was actually, I did a video on the filter earlier. This is relatively cheap. Any filter that has that letter G on it will fit in here. So this is an empty cartridge. There's no filter in here. So then you pick what filter you want. Okay, so for what I did, this is just a basic, does it even say what it's supposed to be for? It was labeled as a sediment filter. Yeah, reduces sediment. Okay, so this is not to make your water safe to drink. Okay, but that was, I think, $25 roughly, and then a 2-pack of these are relatively cheap. I've seen ones very similar to this over at Walmart. So as long as it fits, it should work. All right. So I'm going to put that where this piece of plywood is. And that'll filter the water that goes to my sink, faucet, which is what runs my shower. I wanted to put that on today so that I didn't run unfiltered water into my water heater, because I'm getting some algae outside, but I couldn't find the fitting and I really needed a shower. So next time I'll just, that'll be mounted there for now. And this whole corner is still, work in progress. The water heater isn't going to stay there. That was just really convenient for right now. It's enough room. I can put that literally anywhere, so I'll push it out of the way a little bit further. But for now, that worked out well. And it was drop dead simple because my runs are very short. I have water that comes in for the washer and dryer, and then it goes across to the faucet and it picks that up. I don't have hot water to the washer because I don't typically need hot water. So I don't think I'll even bother, but I got hot and cold hooked up there. They're both running cold water. Right. So if you ever borrow my laundry room, just be aware of that. Now, it would be simple enough to just, do a little cutting and moving and put the hot water first, and then it would go to the washer and dryer also. So, whatever. When I started doing plumbing, I bought 100 feet of PEX, and I've still got some pretty long pieces left over. In fact, I shortened up a bunch of things. So, anyway. This is me. Clean and wet and happy. That's a good way to be. I like it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Later. I would call this a very good day. In the heat of the summer, I don't need a hot water heater. The water in the summer, it feels nice because you're so stinking hot anyway. A cool shower feels good. The water coming out of the tank is probably close to 85 to 100 degrees depending on the day. You don't need to heat it, right? It's only been in the last month where all of a sudden it's like, it starts getting a little bit colder. About equinox is about when it happened. Then you're like, okay, I started experimenting with a solar water heater. Mixed results there. I think it could work, but it wasn't working good enough, fast enough. So I had to go get a water heater. So this one, I don't know if this is going to show up very well or not. I'll post a link to this. I got this at Home Depot. EccoTemp is the brand name, EccoTemp. The one I have back there is the EM-7.0 for 7 gallons. It's 120 volts, standard plug-in. You don't have to have professional installation as far as the electrical. You just plug it into an available outlet. I'm pretty sure it pulled somewhere around 1400, 1500 watts, which is about the same as my coffee maker or a good blow dryer. So it's a good load, but it's not going to trip your breaker. If you got a 20 amp breaker, you should be okay. Within half an hour, roughly, I had water that was hot enough to use. If I used it straight hot water, I took a good shower. All right, and if you aren't blinded for life, yeah, you saw that. I shut the water off while I soaped up, and then I rinsed off. But then I let it run for much longer than I needed to. So if you were looking to take a really quick shower, if you have the discipline or the whatever, spray off, shut the water off, soap up, lather up, get your hair, and then rinse off again. You got plenty of time out of that, and I only heated it to halfway, roughly. What I did is I set the dial at half, checked it a few times, and I could feel that the water was getting warmer, and then I started playing with the dial, and I could see that if I backed it off, it would click off, and so you had an idea. It was roughly halfway. Now, I don't have any temperature measuring equipment out here, but it was warm enough, right? It was almost to the point where it was almost too warm when I first started, but it didn't drop off really quickly. I was really happy about that. I was concerned that as you start pulling the hot water out, the cold water comes in and it mixes with the hot water. You did see that or feel that happening, but it wasn't really, really quickly. So, good, right? Yeah, I'm totally happy with it. And it took it about a half an hour to heat up. Now, today in the bus, it was about somewhere around 80, 82 degrees. It was a fairly warm day compared to earlier in the week. The water coming out of the tank was pretty cold. So when it was filled with probably pretty cold water, not freezing water, not like 30 degrees, but maybe 60 degrees. I looked at possibly using a propane heater. I looked at possibly using a tankless heater. I like the idea of tankless. My concern was that if the water was very, very cold coming in, it wouldn't be able to heat it up enough without going 30 amp 220, really big guns. And I didn't test it this time, but I'm hoping that I don't have to run the big generator to run the hot water heater, because everything else that I can do except for running the electric dryer, I can run off my little cheap 4,000 watt Northern Tools generator, okay, 229 on sale. That little generator works great for everything else. It's cheap, it's easily replaced. Even if it's at full retail, it's not a huge burden. So I'm trying not to use the big generator any more than absolutely necessary. Anyway, if I can use electricity to make hot water on the little generator, I'm going to be just stoked. By going tankless, if the water is too cold coming in, you just can't draw water through it fast enough and get it to come out hot on the other side. Now, I don't have any direct experience with that, but that's what my understanding is. If I'm way wrong, I'm sure somebody will let me know. But I've already bought this, so I'm not likely to change now. One of the reasons I really like this one, or any of the 120 volt hot water heaters, is eventually, either when I get a windmill or when I get bigger solar and better batteries, I should be able to use solar or wind power to heat the water, which is then renewable. Now, I'm not going all hippie and, you know, I'm really not here to save the environment. I'm just here to save my environment. And I suppose that sounds selfish, but it actually benefits everybody, so don't get all mad. But what I'm looking at is anytime I can do something without running the generator, that just means I don't have to drive 15 miles to go get more gas to run the generator and eventually wear out the generator. So eventually, yeah, I think, in fact, that would be a good test. See if my inverter at solar maximum could at least turn on the hot water heater and see how long it would run. That gives me a benchmark. All right. Now, I don't expect that I can get a full tank of hot water, but it's worth testing. So maybe I'll try that out tomorrow and just see, could I get hot water or warm water before I run the batteries completely dead. All right. And then I'll also test it on the little generator just to be sure that that would work, and then I'll have an idea. All right. This could have been a 5-minute clip. Hot water, good. Definitely awesome. Hopefully that helps you out. If nothing else, if you're RVing, especially if you're boondocking, if you can shorten your shower time and use less water, that just means you can stay out longer. And if you can use less water, that means you use less propane or however you're heating your water. That might mean that your friend can jump in and take a shower before you run out of hot water. It's never a bad deal, right? Alrighty. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and if you're new to the channel, thanks for joining us. Welcome aboard, all the new subscribers. Things are really taking off. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to click like and subscribe, and comments and questions are always good. I'll answer as many as I can. So thanks for watching. Later on.
Well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that should work. Cool. I do things differently. Oh, and please, if you like any of this, it would be really awesome if you could subscribe and click that notify bell. Drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas. Share, like, comment, subscribe, notify. Oh, and Patreon if you're really an awesome kind of person. Thank you so much for watching.